Hi, everyone. Have you ever heard that all disease starts in the gut? Do you want to know more about this? Is it true? What does that really mean anyway? Stick with me as I'll explain how your gut health is connected to symptoms all around your body, and more importantly, what you can do about it. I'm Bonnie Flemington. I'm a certified nutritionist and master restorative wellness practitioner, and I specialize in getting to the root of your symptoms to restore balance naturally. I use functional lab testing combined with a symptoms and food journal analysis to create a personalized plan for you because we are all unique. This is important to remember since you will likely require a different approach to your neighbor, your friend, or your family member. I was once at a loss with some clients. We would try all the standard approaches, clean up the diet, but they didn't all get lasting results. Have you ever felt like this too? That something you try works for a bit, but the results don't last? This is the reason we need to look under the hood, so to speak, to determine not just what you have going on, but rather answer the question, why do you have it? And when we address that is what getting to the root cause really means. I recently worked with a young woman who had digestive issues all through high school and university, and she finally reached out for help. Imagine going that long with so much discomfort. When we tested her gut, we learned that she had a parasite and other microbial imbalances. As soon as we started to address those, her symptoms resolved. And not only that, but her hormonal symptoms improved and her anxiety did as well. And that's just one example, and I have many others, of how working on the root cause has benefits all over the body. So this is what I'm going to talk about today. So there's 4 different things I'm going to explain and teach you about today. So one is how gut health impacts other systems in the body. Second is how do digestive issues manifest in the first place? Like, why did you get them? The third is how to prepare your body for healing. And then, of course, the fourth is the gut healing process. So stick with me. First is how does gut health impact all the systems in the body and thus impact overall health? Well, one way is the susceptibility to infections. 70 to 80% of our immune system resides in our gut. When our gut's imbalanced or depleted, our immune system doesn't fight off infections as well. So then we become more susceptible to them. A second way is nutrient deficiencies. Our gut is where absorption of nutrients takes place. When food isn't breaking down well or our gut health is compromised, nutrient absorption isn't happening either. So this can create nutrient deficiencies and therefore create symptoms all over the body. Inflammation. When we have gut inflammation and then we have a compromised gut barrier, that can lead to systemic inflammation. So the inflammation can be anywhere, but it may be rooted in our gut health. Fourth is metabolism. Our fat burning can be slowed when we have gut inflammation. Skin issues. I have noticed that digestive flares and skin flares tend to occur simultaneously in my clients. That can often happen. When our digestive system isn't detoxifying well, other organ systems in the body come to help out. The skin is one organ system that does this because it does have some ability to detoxify. It's not its main function though, so we tend to get skin flares when it's trying to help out too much. Moods and mental health. The top 5 contributors to mental health, many of them relate to food and gut health. Gluten, dairy, B12 deficiency, and gut imbalances are all top contributors to moods and mental health. So as an example, this is why my client who, when we worked on her gut health, her anxiety improved as well. Autoimmune conditions. There are over 100 different autoimmune conditions, and I have never seen one that didn't involve gut as a mechanism for its development. And stress, of course, is another huge contributor to autoimmune disease development and stress does mess with the gut microbiome as well. So that may be part of the mechanism involved. Fatigue or lack of energy. The gut impacts how ATP is produced in the mitochondria when bacterial metabolites seep from the gut into the bloodstream and then interfere. So this is where fatigue can happen, is when our gut health is not optimized. Hormone imbalance is another one. We metabolize our hormones through our gut. In fact, many of my clients experience relief from their hormonal symptoms when we go through a gut healing protocol. And that's one of the things that happened with the client, the example I gave you earlier. Finally, food sensitivities. These are often a gut problem rather than a food problem. We blame the food, but what can happen is when our gut is imbalanced, it actually can create food sensitivities. This is especially true if they're intermittent, like you sometimes react to the food and sometimes you don't, or if it's really hard to identify which food is the issue. That often means that it's actually your digestive imbalance that's creating the sensitivity to certain foods. So many ways gut impacts all systems in the body and impacts overall health. So let's answer the question, how do these digestive issues manifest in the first place? Well, one is the foods we're choosing. If we have poor diet, lots of processed foods, low nutrient foods, low fiber, high sugar, lots of processed food chemicals, inflammatory fats in things like fries or chips, damaged oils. This can impact our gut health, actually. Toxins is another way we can develop digestive issues, from alcohol, smoking, from our environment, from medications. Antibiotics, of course, is one that we definitely understand how that messes with our gut microbiome, because it's killing off our bad bacteria, but also our beneficial gut microbiome as well. So we definitely need to replenish when we've been on antibiotics. The birth control pill, over-the-counter anti-inflammatories, NSAIDs, acid blockers, these can all create imbalances in our digestive tract that start to create problems with its functioning. Infections, perhaps that's from food contamination or from traveling. And the age is another way we can have some problems begin. We naturally have less stomach acid produced as we age, and stomach acid is needed. We think of it as a bad thing because we think of it as creating heartburn. We actually need just the right amount so that we can break our food down well and actually neutralize certain pathogens that may be attached to our food as we're eating it. And finally, stress. I mentioned this before, but stress definitely triggers the unimbalanced microbiome. So we've talked about how the gut impacts the systems in our body and our overall health, how we might have developed gut issues in the first place. And let's move on to how do we really prepare our body for healing? And then finally, what is the healing process look like? So to prepare our body for healing, you don't want to just go out and start taking some supplements and think that everything will be resolved. Your healing is much more nuanced than that. Learning why the imbalance is manifested for you and how to bring your body back into balance involves a holistic approach, all the pillars of health: nutrition, mindset, lifestyle. It's going to involve a step-by-step strategy and implementation support to carry that out. I start my clients with the foundations as we're waiting on test results so that we prepare their body for healing. We optimize liver, gallbladder, bowel function, all of the natural everyday detoxification processes that our body undergoes. We want to make sure those are working really well so we can hit the ground running when we start to implement a gut healing protocol. And that gut healing process involves a number of steps. The steps themselves may look the same for everyone, but what we do at each step is unique to you depending on what's going on for you. So the first step is to remove the triggers. If you don't remove what's triggering you in the first place, then any supplement you take, is not going to have a complete and lasting effect because you're continually being triggered. Some of those triggers might be the food you're eating. We might need to work on diet and changing that, changing some things about it. We may need to remove some overgrowth of bacteria or a fungal overgrowth or parasites. And once we deal with removing the triggers, then we can actually start to create real healing. We replace proper digestive secretions and restore digestive function. We can reinoculate the microbiome with healthy probiotic foods, sometimes supplements, and lots of great fiber to feed those beneficial gut bacteria. We want to repair the integrity of the gut mucosa or gut lining. And most importantly, we don't want to miss out on rebalancing the body and lifestyle factors so that we prevent future dysfunction or recurrence. And all along the way in this 5R process, I like to explain to you what's going on, why we're doing what we're doing. I find it's much more motivating to actually continue on with the process when you understand why you're doing it in the first place and how it's going to help you have lasting results. So everything we've talked about today, it's a lot of great information, but how do you finally become the CEO of your health with this information and actually implement it? This is super important because you don't want to just file this information away as sort of interesting, but then not without taking action on it. So I encourage you, reach out, find a practitioner you trust who can take you through this process of discovery, strategy, healing, and maintenance. The practitioner you choose is very important because you will be spending a lot of time with this person. You'll be relying on them to choose the right test and strategy to help you. If you'd like to hear more from me, follow me at Bonnie Flemington on Instagram or in the From Aging to Energy 40 Plus Facebook group for more important gut, anti-inflammatory, metabolic health information. And comment below this video or send me a direct message and I will send you the link to my free anti-inflammatory e-guide with recipes to get you started.